My cousin Dom is coming to stay with me this weekend from out of town, and he has no idea what I'm about to put him through. You see, Dom is coming into town to do a private, invite-only pre-release event for Avatar: The Last Airbender's Magic the Gathering set with me. And we are also attending Michigan's largest Comic-Con. But when he gets here, we begin our next budget Magic the Gathering deck building challenge, where we're gonna have him pick from one of the like 160 new Avatar cards that could be a commander at random and give us a commander to build for $75 or less. Let's hope we get lucky. But unfortunately for me, that's not all. I have to complete building the entire commander deck by the end of this weekend trip with Dom, which luckily for me, I'm gonna be taking him to visit some of our local LGSs since he lives way out in the countryside and he doesn't even have stores by him. So hopefully I'll be able to come up with a list, finish the list, and then play it and see if it's any good. So yeah, wish me luck. Let's see what we can cook up. Hopefully he doesn't give me something that is nearly impossible to make a deck around. Yo, what's up, Dom? How's it going, brother? Dude, I know I got a camera in your face, but I need you for something. So, you know how we're doing the pre-release and the Comic-Con and all that this weekend?
Yeah.
I was hoping that you could tell me a commander that I should build this weekend from Avatar. What do you think?
Easy. Firelord.
Hello?
I am a 400-foot tall purple platypus
Dom?
bear with pink horns and silver wings.
Who is that? Anyway, we're on a huge time crunch now. We're headed straight to a couple different stores so that way we can show him kind of what our local scene looks like here. Hopefully, we're gonna pick up some cards because I don't even know where to go with this deck. And we're gonna do pre-release. So let's get him settled in the house. We gotta go. All right, so we've made it to Big Ben's Comics. Time to see.
Comic store.
Yep. Time to see if they got some of these singles.
Avatar founded 2005.
Avatar was founded in 2005. So I read the card, but had no idea what it did because I haven't looked at the Avatar set, if I'm being honest. So, Dom.
I didn't really look too much into it either. I know it's really good. I know that.
You kind of threw me a little bit of a curveball though, bro. I didn't know what to expect with this one. Yo, James, you have any Avatar cards? Wow, you have a lot of Avatar cards already. That's crazy. James, you mind if I look at one of your bulk boxes?
Sure.
Thanks, brother. You got any new stuff? Or you got some new unpriced stuff? Nice. This is one of the things that I love so much about coming to Big Ben's Comics here in Allen Park is you can just look through cards. It's an amazing thing. If you guys don't look through cards and you just build them online, you're missing out. Got that bulk. I mean, when I say bulk, it's not always really bulk, but they do have lots of bulk you can look through. Like you can see right here, we have Starting Town, Sacred Foundries. Just this is all unpriced, brand new stuff that came in the shop. Show and Tell, Stifle, Teferi. Reaver Cleaver's a broken magic card. All right, we found a couple things we need for the deck. I have most of it at home, but we are one step closer. And we have one more place to stop. And hopefully by the end of this weekend, we will have a complete deck that will kick some butt. The squad's made it to the pre-release. Hopefully we can get the last few cards that we need for this deck. Yeah. What's up,
Give me the
boys?
money. 40 bones.
40 bones, I got you. You say hi to the vlog?
Hello, Tilt Vlog. This is the night of dreams being shattered.
Whose dreams are you gonna shatter tonight?
Shattered. Whoever plays me.
All right, got my kit. Got the green one. I have no clue what's in here, but apparently these are pre-seeded, which I had no clue that they were going to be based on colors because I did not look into Avatar whatsoever. Dom got the red one.
It's pretty sick so far.
Easy. So he's probably going to get some cards that are probably pretty good for our deck. Toe. Whoever Toe. Look at that. All right. So we got Fire Nation Drill. Redirect Lightning is our rare in this pack. Our rare is Toph, the first metal bender. And then we got a foil full art Foggy Swamp. So they gave us a pre-seeded pack and only gave us 5 packs.
Yes.
I would rather have a random pack, to be honest. What'd you get?
Force of Negation.
You got Force of Negation? Dom opened a Force of Negation. Look.
Shannon, what'd you get?
Oh my gosh, she's a Commander All-Star. It's gotta go in your VV deck, dude.
I already have one in there, but it's a proxy, but now I can put them.
That's awesome. Really excited to get this. I love this artifact from Spoiled. This is like one of the few spoilers I saw that I liked. We got the Airbender Ascension, and our last rare is Bummy Unleashed. This guy's actually a really cool mythic. Okay, here's all our rares.
My only mythic, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of poopy.
Good morning, party people. Last night, I ended up winning the pre-release. Here's my prize packs. I wanted to open them on camera. It was way too late by the time I got out of there to do any more filming. So we came back, we crashed. Now we're about to go to Comic-Con. We got to find the rest of this Avatar deck. Thankfully, I think I'm going to build a deck with not very many Avatar cards. So I feel like we got this in the bag. But anyway, let's see what we got from our pre-release prize packs. Wartime Protesters, Boggy Swamp Visions, Ba Sing Se. This is a cool commander card right here. A Badger Mole, what bait. Fire Nation Palace. Never sleep on lands. Last pack, Agna Kiela. So we got the green one, the red one, and the blue one. That's actually kind of cool. I'm fine with getting lands because I feel like I can actually use them. A lot of cool like commander options in this set, so potentially we can build some other commanders down the line. Today we're at the
Motor City Comic-Con.
and hopefully we can find the rest of the cards that we need for this Magic the Gathering deck. The Tilt Boys are taking over the Comic-Con, baby.
Shazam!
There's a lot to see here at the Comic-Con. Way too much to see, way too much stimulation. But I know they have cards. I see cards already. Look at the cards. Cards, cards, cards. Lots of crazy stuff. We got the big dog. Big dog's out here taking over the Comic-Con.
Fireball.
Quick question for you. When's your birthday?
11/20.
What year? 11/20/65?
Yes.
Max, November 20th, 1965. What day of the week?
Saturday.
Saturday. You're born on Saturday.
Really?
Yeah. Max is an autistic savant.
Awesome.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
It's a pleasure. Awesome costume, brother.
Thank you.
Absolutely. There are very few Magic cards at this thing. Lots of Pokemon cards. But it's kind of crazy because one of the stores that I go to, one of the LGSs, has a booth here, and they actually only have exclusively Pokemon singles with them, but their store is like 99% Magic singles. So maybe they're playing into an audience thing here? I don't know. We're still on the hunt though. We're gonna find some stuff. I did find one booth with Magic. We are gonna go back.
Gathering card.
Yeah, we are looking at Magic the Gathering cards, that's right. Are we gonna get some good ones for the deck?
Yes.
We're gonna get some good ones? Are we gonna make the best deck ever?
Yeah.
Good, how's it going? I like the boots.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. I had some black cards set aside, and then these ones from the binder as well. Old deck boxes.
I was kind of.
I have this exact deck box at home. Only the OGs know about these boys right here with the guild symbols on them and stuff.
I like this white one.
The Plains one? Dude, these were perfect for 60 card decks back in the day. Put your 260 card decks in here, go play Modern and Standard in the same tournament. Dom's about to be ripping a conspiracy pack, from what I hear. You know you can get Leovold, Emissary of Trest in there. I can't help myself with foils, Dom. Yeah, when it's a commander, like I always try to foil out the commander. Here we go. Deck's coming together. Awesome. Thanks. Thank you very much. Yep. Thank you very much, brother. Have a good day. Appreciate you. Oh, man. I would consider Comic-Con a smashing success in the way of Magic the Gathering. We ended up finding quite a few booths with some cards, and I think this deck is ready to rumble. What do you think, Dom?
I'm kind of scared.
You're scared to play against it tonight?
A little bit.
All right, it's gonna be done. I gotta get it done tonight. We're gonna go home, we're gonna rush, get this deck built, and then we're gonna battle. And that's it. Good luck to you, Dom.
Oh, well, I'm gonna need it. I'm gonna need it.
And that is exactly what we did. Dom and I got home and we started cranking through my Magic the Gathering collection, trying to find all of the pieces that I had in mind for this spectacular deck that I'm about to show you. But first, before I forget, holy foreshadowing. It's time, Dom. What do you got?
Conspiracy Take the Crown, 2016. I know. They always organize these packs different for every set, I swear.
You know you can get Leovold, Emissary of Trest in there. Oh, we got the Leovold! Nice, dude. This guy is banned in Commander. He's so good. I've always had such a soft spot in my heart for that Leovold card, and I don't know why, because it's one of the most savage cards. So I could not believe that happened. But onto the deck. I am very proud of the deck that I managed to build under this extreme time constraint. This thing is an incredibly strong budget control or tempo deck, depending on how you play it. It is such a fascinating deck with a lot of different lines of play. And the final price of the deck, as of recording right now, is clocking in at $59.94. And that is TCG Player Mid. So your prices may vary depending on where you decide to pick up the deck or how much of it you have in your collection. But I gotta tell you, there is something incredibly magical about just sitting down with one of your homies and building a deck together. Anyway, I hope you love the deck and you kick some butt with it, because I played with it since and it is gas. Okay, everyone, the time is here. This is our commander, Fire Lord Azula. She is one generic, a blue, a black, and a red. A legendary creature, human noble, with fire bending 2, which means whenever this creature attacks, you add 2 red mana. This mana lasts until the end of combat. And whenever you cast a spell while Fire Lord Azula is attacking, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. She is a 4/4. So when I initially found out about this commander from Dom, my first instinct was to either build this as a storm commander, which I feel like would be absolutely busted with all of the rituals that you get to copy, or as sort of a pump commander where you just copy pump spells on her over and over and make her unblockable. Sort of like a one-time pump Voltron deck. But you know what? I don't find either of those strategies to be the most fun way to play this card. So what I did was I built her as a control/tempo deck, and man, am I glad I did that. Let's get into the good stuff. First things first, we're gonna start off with our ramp package here. The first one we have is Wayfarer's Bauble. It's 1 mana, and we can tap it for 2 and sack it to search for basic land and put it into play tapped. This helps make sure we hit all of our colors on lands, which is awesome, and it's also a great turn 1 play. Next, we have Arcane Signet. Pay 2, tap it, add 1 mana of any color in our commander's color identity. Awesome mana rock. Then we have all of the signets and the talismans, which are really, really important for our deck. These are in the Grixis colors, which is red, blue, and black. Each of the signets costs 2, and we can pay 1 and tap it to add the mana that's in the color identity in the name. So we have the talismans as well, which they also cost 2, but we can tap them and add a colorless, or tap them for the color we need and take a damage, which is fine because Commander, our life total is a resource. We don't always need to chump block creatures. Use your life total to your advantage. I'm telling you, you're going to win more games. Now we get into the fun ramp. This is Dark Ritual. It costs 1 black, and it's an instant, and it makes 3 black mana. The funny thing is, when we attack with our commander, we actually get to double up the mana on Dark Ritual, because while our commander's attacking, our Dark Ritual will be copied. So we get to pay 1 mana and float 6 mana. So we actually gain 5 mana on that transaction, and we can do whatever we want with that mana. It can get out of hand real fast, especially when I show you some of these other cards that are in the deck. You're going to be like, whoa. We also have Desperate Ritual, which costs a red and a colorless. It is an instant as well, and it adds 3 red to our mana pool. Same thing, we can use this to ramp out one of our spells early, or we can use this to our significant advantage with our commander and just go absolutely nuts, making a positive 4 mana while our commander's attacking. Next, we have Baral, Chief of Compliance. It is a blue and a colorless legendary creature. It is a 1/3. Instant and sorcery cards we cast cost 1 less to cast. Fun fact, we have 30 instants in our deck, so this card is absolutely phenomenal. It makes almost 30 cards cheaper. And then also, whenever a spell or ability we control counters a spell, we may draw a card, and if we do, discard a card. We are going to be countering lots of spells. I will show you later on. This card is absolutely fantastic for what we're trying to do. We also have Goblin Electromancer, which is a blue and a red Goblin Wizard instant and sorceries we cast, cost 1 generic less to cast. Basically just a slightly worse version of our Baral that I just showed you. We also have Stormkiln Artist, which is a 2/2 that costs 4 mana, and it gets +1/+0 for each artifact we control. But the reason we're playing this card is because whenever we cast an instant or copy an instant or sorcery spell, we create a treasure token. This card works fantastically with our entire deck, and most importantly, our commander, because our commander copies those spells that we cast, letting us make 2 treasures with every single instant that we are going to be casting during the combat phase. So not only can we go net positive or net even on the spells and just keep casting spells, but we can also just make a ton of mana if we need to, or we can make the Stormkiln Artist absolutely huge and turn him into a beater. Last, we have Mana Geyser. It's 5 mana, and it's one of the very few sorcerers we play in our deck, we get to add a red to our mana pool for each tapped land our opponents control. Now we have 3 opponents. If we play this in the mid to late game, we're floating somewhere around 20 mana, 21 mana, and what we can do with this is insane. So I'll show you some of our mana sinks here in just a second, but don't sleep on this card at all ever. It's so good in EDH. Next, I want to talk about some of our creatures in the deck. Now, most of these creatures are following a theme, and I'll get into that in just a second. But first, I want to show you Kaza Royal Chaser. It is a blue and a red, and also misprint. I love collecting misprint cards, but it is a 1/2 flying haste, and we can tap it, and the next instant or sorcery spell we cast this turn costs X less to cast, where X is the number of wizards we control as this ability resolves. Now with this deck, we're going to be making a lot of token copies of wizards at instant speed, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do that later. But most of our creatures in this deck, even though we play very few creatures, are wizards, so I guess we can count this guy as part of the ramp package. But this card can get out of hand really fast and make our win cons a whole lot cheaper. Next, we have Merfolk Trickster, which is 2 blue and it has flash. It is a 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, you get to tap target creature an opponent controls, and it loses all abilities until end of turn. So not only can this stop some of the pesky creatures that have insane abilities tacked on them, but it can also tap creatures down, disrupt our opponents, save our opponents, which we can use as a political piece, or save us from getting attacked if we need to buy an extra turn. Now this card has flash, and our commander synergizes with these flash creatures, which when we cast this card during our combat phase, if we do it then we actually make a copy of this card, meaning we can tap down 2 creatures if we're trying to just get through damage or protect one of our creatures, and we grow our board presence. Next, we have Izzet Staticaster. It costs a generic, a blue, and a red, and it is a human wizard with flash, and it also has haste, meaning we can cast this thing at instant speed and copy it, using it as one of our control pieces for this deck. It is a 0/3 that says tap. Izzet Staticaster deals 1 damage to target creature and each other creature with the same name as that creature. This card absolutely blows out any sort of tribal synergy deck, such as a rat deck or a slime deck, where they're playing all the cards with the same name. And also, this card blows out token decks where you're making the same kind of token over and over and over. Because when we cast this during our turn, we're going to make a copy of this, meaning we can kill any tokens on the field with 2 toughness or less. This is just a great control piece. It allows us to get in some extra damage if our opponents block one of our creatures and we don't have enough. It's just a really good versatile piece for our deck. Next, we have Dualcaster Mage. It is a red, and a colorless. It is also a wizard and is a 2/2 of flash. When it enters the battlefield, we copy target instant or sorcery spell. We may choose new targets for the copy. So every single instant in our deck can be copied, and I'll show you what I mean later, because this card is absolutely bonkers, and we are just going to be going nuts with our instants, especially during our turn, but during our opponent's turns if we have to. So let me just give you a quick example of this. So let's say we cast Electro Dominance, which is a red, and X, and it deals X damage to any target. We may cast a card with converted mana cost X or less from our hand without paying its mana cost. We're not going to get into that second part, but we're going to go into the damage part right now. So let's say we cast Electro Dominance for X equals 10, and then we cast Dualcaster Mage. We actually get to copy that Electro Dominance, dealing 10 damage to another target. But if we do this during our turn, when we're attacking, this can get out of hand really fast. So let's say we attack with our commander, we cast Electro Dominance. Electro Dominance gets copied. We cast our Dualcaster Mage. Dualcaster Mage copies the Electro Dominance, and also our commander copies the Dualcaster Mage, meaning that we get to copy the Electro Dominance yet again, giving us 4 copies of Electro Dominance for X equals 10. That's 40 damage. Boom, somebody's dead, or a bunch of people just took 10 damage. And with this card specifically, we get to cast more cards from our hand, and if we do this right with the stack, then we're probably copying a lot of spells with this deck. Next, for our creatures, we do have a Game Changer. You don't have to play it. You can sub it out. This card's really cheap, though. It's Notion Thief. It is a 3/1 with flash for 2 colorless, a blue, and a black. And it says if an opponent would draw a card except the first one he or she draws on each of his or her draw steps, instead, that player skips that draw and you draw a card. So if an opponent's drawing extra cards, then you're just actually drawing the cards instead. And the other cool thing about Notion Thief is that it's not a legendary, and if we cast this while our commander is attacking, then we're going to make 2 Notion Thieves. We're going to be drawing so many cards and just drowning people in value. Then we have Venser Shaper Savant. It is a 2 blue and 2 colorless legendary creature. It is a 2/2 with flash, and it's also a wizard, which we have lots of wizards. And so when Venser Shaper Savant enters the battlefield, you can return a spell or permanent to its owner's hand. Very versatile card. It's really good for us too, because we actually get to copy it, and we can either return a spell, which is kind of like a pseudo form of copying. If a spell is on the stack, then we actually just return return that spell to the hand and it doesn't come out. Or we can bounce a permanent to the hand, deal with any of those pesky attackers that are bothering us, or if we need to get a blocker out of the way, we copy it, we sack one of them because of the legendary rule. But this card is absolutely fantastic. It's very versatile, and we love versatile Magic cards in our tempo and control style decks. Next, we have Narumeha, the Master Wizard. It is a 2 colorless, 2 blue legendary human creature. It is a wizard as well. It is a 3/3 with flash, and when Narumeha enters battlefield, we copy target instant or sorcery spell we control, and we make choose new targets for the copy. And other wizards we control get +1/+1, which is kind of a cool effect, but not really something we're banking on. The cool thing we love about Narumeha is not only can this come in and copy our spells, meaning we can do a lot more shenanigans, but it's just another one of those versatile cards that we can use in any way that we need, whether it's pumping the wizards or just copying the spells, or if we cast it during our combat, we copy 2 spells. So beautiful card. And our last creature is Torrential Gearhulk. It is 4 colorless and 2 blue. It is a artifact creature construct 5/6 with flash. When it enters the battlefield, you may cast target instant card from your graveyard without paying its mana cost, and if that card will be put in the graveyard this turn, exile it instead. The cool thing about this is, like I said, pretty much our entire deck is instants, and you guys will see what I mean. This card can come in, get copied, give us so many shenanigans. But keep in mind, it's only cards that we cast that are copied while we're attacking from our commander. But this is probably one of the best cards in our deck, not only because it's a pretty good beater, but just because it is not a legendary. Next, I want to get into some of the draw that we have for this deck, and all of these cards happen to be instants. First, we have Opt. It's 1 blue. It's an instant. It lets us scry 1 and draw a card, but if we cast this while we're attacking, but obviously we need to remember this, and I'm not going to repeat it every time. Our commander is going to copy these when we're attacking. So for 1 blue, we're actually going to draw 2 cards and scry 2. Pretty good value. Next, we have Brainstorm. It's 1 blue instant, draw 3 cards. Then we may put 2 cards from our hand on top of our library in any order. I love Brainstorm just because it lets us filter through our deck and get the cards we need. So if we're casting this during our attack phase, we're drawing 6. We're looking at 6 cards. It's a lot of value. The other thing to keep in mind is that if we have Brainstorm, we have one of our lands, which I'll show you our lands later. We can actually put our cards on top that we don't want and then fetch our Evolving Wilds, for instance, and just get them out of the way so we don't draw them again. We also have Crimson Wisps. It is 1 red instant. Target creature becomes red and gains haste until end of turn. Draw a card. So not only can this card give our commander haste, so that way we can attack or get the firebending in, but it also just draws us 2 cards if we want to use it while we're attacking. Same thing with Expedite, really good card. Then we have Psychotic Fury, which is a red and a colorless. Target multicolored creature gains double strike until end of turn. So we can use this offensively, defensively, and draw a card. We also have Glimmer of Genius, which is 3 colorless and a blue instant. We scry 2, draw 2 cards, and get 2 energy. The energy, absolutely useless for us in this case, but it's the scrying 2 and drawing 2 cards that's really good for us, because if we're scrying 2 cards and drawing 2 cards and say we're copying that, then we actually get to go 8 cards deep in our 100 card deck, which is basically almost 10% of the deck from just this 4-drop spell. We're really going to find the stuff that we need, like the Answers or the Win Con that we're digging for. We also have Factor Fiction, which is 3 colorless and a blue instant. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library. An opponent separates those cards into 2 piles. Put 1 in your hand and the other in your graveyard. If you need a spell, this card is literally going through a 10th of our deck if we're attacking, because we're copying it twice. So we will be looking at 10 cards, and I can guarantee you're going to get something that you need for the situation when you're 10 cards deep in your deck. If not, it's just a really, really good spell that gets us some value when we need it, and it gives our opponents something to talk about. We also have Stroke of Genius. It is X, 2, and blue instant. Target player draws X cards. How would we not be playing an X spell like this to draw cards, especially when we're attacking? We can draw so many cards, and it's the same thing with Pull from Tomorrow. It is X, blue, blue, instant, draw X cards, then discard a card. These are the kind of cards that really keep a control deck like ours in the game, especially if we can't get in there and attack and double things. These are the cards that we need to fuel back up and give us another shot at pushing through and doing what we need to do. All right, let's get into some of our targeted removal here. So we have Spell Pierce. It is a blue instant target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 2. I've always been of the belief in Commander that the lower the mana cost in general on your cards, the more value you can get out of them. Now you might be thinking like, oh yeah, I got to play these big splashy spells because they get more value, but it's not really the case. You play big splashy spells that bring you the most value, but you use these cards to not only make sure your opponents are turned off of their spells, but also these help you to enable your plan and protect your plan when it happens, because people never see a Spell Pierce coming. This also can stop people from playing a Soul Ring if you go first on turn 1 and you just have an island sitting there. there. We also have an offer you can't refuse. That is a blue instant counter target non-creature spell. Its controller creates 2 treasure tokens. Absolutely fantastic card. Really good value. We just want to counter things, protect our commander when we cast it, protect our commander when we're attacking, or protect ourselves from anything that our opponents try to do to us. We have Negate, which is a blue and a colorless, and this card literally just says counter target non-creature spell. Absolutely fantastic card. I play it in every single blue deck that I have in EDH. It's also a very budget card. Then we have Counterspell, which is a blue counter target spell. And we have Lightning Bolt, which is 1 red and it deals 3 damage to any target. This card's really cool because not only can we use this to burn our opponents, especially if we copy it a bunch of times, but also we can use this to remove early game threats, late game threats if we're copying it. We just love versatile cards. Then we have Shoot the Sheriff, destroy target non-outlaw creature. An outlaw is an assassin, a mercenary, a pirate, a rogue, and a warlock. Everybody else you can shoot. These aren't super common creature types, but you will run into it once in a while depending on what they're playing, especially if they're playing black or like Grixis colors. They're probably going to have a good amount of mercenaries or assassins. We also have Drown in the Loch, which is a blue and a black instant. Choose 1. Counter target spell with mana value less than or equal to the number of cards in that controller's graveyard. So this card actually turns into a better and better card as the game goes on, but it also lets us destroy target creature with mana value less than or equal to the number of cards in the controller's graveyard. We love these versatile cards, the cards that give us decision points, they give us options. That is how you play control and beat people up. Then we have Infernal Grasp. It is a black and a colorless. We get to destroy target creature and we lose 2 life. Now remember, our life total is a resource. We don't always have to chump block. I see people chump blocking too much. Infernal Grasp is really good. Don't be afraid to go down to 1 life because you are still in the game. You're still alive. I also have Rakdos Charm. It is a black and a red instant. Choose 1. Exile all cards from target player's graveyard. It's great. We actually need Graveyard Disruption in every single deck. We have Destroy Target Artifact, which is also fantastic for us. And we have each creature deals 1 damage to its controller. We don't play that many creatures, so we can afford to take some damage. But against token decks or go wide decks, this card can literally straight up kill somebody, especially if we're casting it when we're attacking with our commander. We can hit them for so much damage. It could be a real, true game ender. We also have Tyrant Scorn, which is a black and a blue instant. Choose 1. Destroy target creatures converted mana cost 3 or less, which is good, especially against some of those faster commanders. Or we can return a creature to its owner's hand. Now let me show you why I really like this card for the bounce part specifically. So let's say we have a Torrential Gearhulk on the field that we already used. We can cast Tyrant Scorn and return this Torrential Gearhulk back to our hand, letting us value again. But it gets really nutty when we're attacking and we're actually copying the Tyrant Scorn, because not only can we use this card twice to return 2 creatures to our hand, maybe a Torrential Gearhulk and something else, or we can destroy something and return the Torrential Gearhulk to our hand. We get to recast the Torrential Gearhulk during our attack and then do a double trigger and do this all over again. Torrential Gearhulk and bouncing it to our hand, especially with our commander, lets us do a lot of different loops that just give us so much value. There's so much play to this deck, and that's what I really like about it. We also have Run Away Together, which is a blue and a colorless instant. Choose 2 target creatures controlled by different players. Return those creatures to their owner's hands. I love this card because if I'm casting it while I'm attacking, I'm bouncing 4 of my opponent's creatures. Or the other upside to this is we can bounce our own creatures like Torrential Gearhulk that I talked about, or like the Dualcaster Mage, which lets us copy an instant or sorcery. We just get to value out so much. We can also bounce our Trickster. All of our creatures with flash, we can bounce them back to our hand, recast them, and just get so much stinking value. That's why I love this commander as a control commander. Then we have Terminate. We destroy target creature. It can't be regenerated. Pretty self-explanatory. Busted card, solves the problem when we have one. We also have Is It Charm. It is a blue and a red instant. Choose 1. Counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 2. So just like our Spell Pierce. Deal 2 damage to a creature, or draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards. Very versatile card. We love it. Then we have Snap. It is a blue and a colorless instant. Return target creature to its owner's hand. Untap up to 2 lands. This card is fantastic. It's like casting it for free, especially if you have your commander attacking, because we're going to be untapping 4 lands. It's actually kind of like a ramp spell. Then we have a Braid. It is a red and a colorless instant. Choose 1. A Braid deals 3 damage to target creature, or also destroy target artifact. We really love these cards that just give us so much versatility, whether that's blowing up a creature or blowing blowing up a really important artifact of our opponents. We also have Soul Manipulation, which is a colorless, a blue and a black instant. We get to choose one or both with this one. We get to counter a creature spell, which we can counter one of our opponent's commanders, one of their important creatures, or return a creature card from our graveyard to our hand. Now, this is one of the very few ways that we can recur some of our creatures that end up dying, and also it just gives us a ton of versatility. We also have Withering Torment, which is 2 colorless and a black instant, destroy target creature or enchantment. We lose 2 life. This is how we're going to be getting rid of some enchantments that are in our way. Absolutely phenomenal card. We have Kolaghan's Command, which is one of my favorite cards. It is a colorless, a black, and a red instant. I used to play with this card in Standard, and it was really fun. We could choose 2. Return a creature card from our graveyard or our hand, which is beautiful. It's another way to do that. We can make a player discard a card, or destroy an artifact or deal 2 damage to a creature or player. So this has a lot of options for versatility. I really like to do some busted things with this card. Because of this card's versatility, it's just so good in that department. We also have Brutal Expulsion, which is 2 colorless, a red, and a blue. Instant Devoid. So this card actually has no color whatsoever. Choose one or both of these modes. Return target spell, so pseudo counter spell, or creature to its owner's hand, which we can go through the whole thing of returning our opponent's creatures or our creatures. Or also Brutal Expulsion deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If that permanent would be put into a graveyard this turn, exile it instead. Really good against those graveyard decks, and also just another versatile control piece. We love it. So let's get into some of these other spells that we have in the deck that aren't removal spells. We have Essence Flux. It's 1 blue instant, exile target creature we control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. If it's a spirit, put a +1 counter on it. We can use this card to blink our creatures like Narumeha and copy things, or we can use this to protect our creatures such as our commander from dying for only 1 blue. And if we're attacking and we copy it, we can do both. We have Increasing Vengeance, which is red, copy target instant or sorcery spell we control. If Increasing Vengeance was cast from a graveyard, we copy that spell twice instead. You may choose new targets for the copy. The flashback is only 5 mana. Love this card because it's going to help us to end some games or get some incredible value, and it's only 2 mana. We also have Repeated Reverberation. It is 2 colorless and 2 red instant. When you next cast an instant spell, cast a sorcery spell, or activate a loyalty ability this turn, copy that spell or ability twice. You may choose new targets for the copies. Who doesn't love copying their big spells or most impactful spells 2 times? We also have Propaganda, and I play this in every single like control-y blue deck that I have. It's a blue and 2 colorless enchantment. Each turn, each creature cannot attack you unless its controller pays an additional 2. People really like to tap out and use their mana to cast their things in Casual Commander. They don't really want to pay the mana to attack you. This card only kind of falls off in the late game, but I guarantee you if somebody's paying 2 mana to attack you, probably not a good sign of what's in their hand. We also have Mystical Teachings, which is a blue and 3 instant. Search our library for an instant card or a card with flash, reveal it, and put it to our hand, shuffle our library. Yeah, you read that right. An instant or a card with flash. Pretty much all of our creatures have flash. Like Narumeha has flash. We can search our library for any of the creatures we need or any of the instants that we need, such as the Electro Dominance that I showed you earlier to end the game. And this card also has flashback for 6 mana. Then we have my personal favorite card that I put in the deck, and that is Vesuvan Duplimancy. It is a blue and 3 colorless enchantment. Whenever I cast a spell that targets only a single artifact or creature I control, I create a copy that's a copy of that artifact or creature, except it's not legendary. We can copy our commander by just casting a spell like Essence Flux. So we'll target our commander. It's going to make a copy that's not legendary of our commander, and then our commander is going to come back into play. It's actually crazy the amount of value that you can get out of this card specifically in our deck. Next, I want to talk about some of our mass removal if we're not doing so good. We got Blasphemous Act, which is a sorcery, and it costs 1 less to cast for each creature on the battlefield, deals 13 damage to each creature. This card used to not be 2 budget, but it's an absolutely fantastic budget card now. We have Fire Covenant, which is a colorless, a black, and a red. One of my old favorites. It's an instant. Fire Covenant deals X damage divided any way we choose among any number of target creatures where X is equal to the amount of life you pay. So you can actually pay as much life as you want or as little life as you want and deal with whatever threats are on the table. And I also think it's very synergistic because we're playing this Fire Commander. I never watch Avatar, but we're playing some Fire Commander. And look at the Fire Covenant. Come on, baby. We know we got to play this. Bonkers, 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 bonkers removal spell. We also have Aetherize, which is one of my personal favorites, and I play this in every control deck. It is a blue and 3 colorless instant. Return all attacking creatures to their owner's hand. The thing that I like about this is I like to play pretty defensively. When I'm playing control, I don't really like to play proactively. I want to see people do their plan, have their fun while they're playing the game. But if they mess with me, I'm gonna bite your tail off. So Aetherize goes really well into that, and so does Aether Spouts, which is blue, 3 instant for each attacking creature its owner puts it on the top or bottom of their library. These are the kind of like board wipes that I like to play just because it doesn't really make people mad, and if they chose to attack me, that's on them. They have to suffer the consequences of their sins. Okay, now, so I know I kind of spoiled the Electro Dominance earlier and kind of what this deck's looking to do to finish people off if we're not attacking, but we also have another card like that called Fall of the Titans. It is red XX instant, but it has Surge, which is mostly what we're going to cast it for, so we're probably going to cast a 1 or 2 drop spell, and then we have Surge, which is red and X, and we can actually just do it this way instead, which will let us turn this into an instant speed red X drop. But the thing I like about Fall of the Titans, and I actually think it's a little bit better than Electro Dominance in some ways, is Fall of the Titans deals X damage to each of up to 2 target creatures or players. So we can copy this and target 2 players each time, and instead of having to use each of the individual copies like Electro Dominance, we actually get to hit 2 people at once. So we copy this, we actually really blow people out. So let's say X equals 10 again, and we copy it, then we can deal 10 damage to 2 players twice. So that's 40 damage on the table, which is really good. We only need 1 copy for that one. As opposed to Electro Dominance, we would need 3 copies instead of 1 copy. So I really like that it doubles up. We also have Expansion and Explosion, which is an instant on both sides. It's either hybrid red-blue for 2 mana, copy target instant or sorcery spell with converted mana cost 4 or less. You may choose new targets for the copy, or it's blue, red, X. Explosion deals X damage to any target. Target player draws X cards. So not only can we use this to copy spells, but we can use this to end the game or draw cards if we need to. Absolutely fantastic card. Loved it when it was in standard. And last for our game-ending spells, we have Exsanguinate, which is black, X sorcery. Each opponent loses X life, and you gain life equal to the life lost this way. I love Exsanguinate. I think this card is absolutely fantastic. You could copy this with your commander if you're playing a card like Quicken, which is 1 blue, and then you can make your sorceries into instants and you draw a card. I couldn't find a copy of Quicken, so it's not in this deck, but I would put it in and probably drop something like the Wayfarer's Bauble. But each opponent loses X life, and you gain life equal to the life lost this way. So late game, when you drop this, if you even drop this for 5, you're going to make each opponent lose 5 life, and you're going to gain 20 life. These are our controlling end games right here. Now we're going to talk about the mana base. It's pretty self-explanatory. I did the math, and it's all Grixis stuff that's in this mana base. So we have Sulfur Falls, which taps for a red or blue. If we control an island or mount, it comes in untapped. We have Command Tower. We have the Fire Nation Palace, which is the only other card from Avatar that's in this deck. This land enters tapped unless you control a basic land. You can tap it to add red, or you can pay 2 mana, and target creature you control gains Firebending 4 until end of turn, which helps us to get more mana while we're attacking, and also it's just a really solid card for this deck. We have Tainted Isle, which I love these lands. You can either tap it for a colorless or tap it to add a blue or black to your mana pool, and you can only activate this if you have a swamp. We also have Foreboding Ruins. It enters the battlefield. You may reveal a swamp or mountain card from your hand. If you don't, Foreboding Ruins enters the battlefield tapped. We have Spirebluff Canal. It enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or few other lands, so play this one as early as you can. We have Drowned Catacomb, which is a buddy land. At least that's what they used to be called. It enters the battlefield tapped unless you control an island or a swamp. Then we have the Choked Estuary, just the same thing as the Foreboding Ruins, but in blue and black. We have Fiery Islet, which I'm shocked how cheap this card is. It is a land that says you can tap it, pay 1 life to add a blue or a red, or you can pay 1 and sacrifice Fiery Islet to draw a card. You're playing control, you're going to go to late game, you draw this off the top, it's another draw spell. Blackcleave Cliffs, just the red-black version of Spirebluff Canal. Dragon Skull Summit, it is the red-black version of Drowned Catacombs, another buddy land. Shivan Reef, which is a pain land. You can either tap it to add 1 colorless to your mana pool, or you can tap it to add a blue or red, and you take 1 damage. Then we have Tainted Peak. It is just like the land I showed earlier, add 1 colorless to your mana pool, or you can add a black or a red, only if you control Swamp. Shadowblood Ridge, which is tap 1 colorless to add red and black. Then we have Maestro's Theater, which is one of our 2 crack lands in this deck. When it enters the battlefield, sacrifice it. When you do, search your library for a basic land, search your library for a basic island, swamp, or mountain card, and it enters the battlefield tapped, then shuffle and gain a life. So let's say we put some cards on top of our deck with Brainstorm. We can use the Maestro's Theater or the Evolving Wilds, which sack, search your library for basic land, put in the battlefield tapped, and then we won't have to worry about those cards anymore. This also gives us the color that we need because we're playing Grixis in budget. We don't have access to the very best land. We got some pretty good ones, but we're definitely missing like shock lands, for instance, and fetches. This helps us to be a little more consistent. And lastly, we'll go into the basic lands. I believe we have 10 islands, and we have 4 swamps, and we have 6 mountains, and that is our deck. Okay, we just got back from playing Magic all night. Dom, how is the deck?
Well, I lost to it. He didn't win, but he basically won in my mind.
It's pretty strong. It's pretty
was
strong. It
incredibly
almost beat a
strong.
CEDH deck. Almost.
I think it would have beat the CDH deck if there wasn't. I forgot what card it was that was played.
Oh, we didn't board wipe me?
Yeah.
He blasphemous acted me. So, anyway, hope you guys enjoy the deck. It's pretty fun.